Have you ever seen someone eat alone every single day and wondered what their story might be? Well, what happened next will remind you that one small act of kindness can change an entire life. Before we dive in, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Outfits Stories because today's story is one you'll never forget. It was a quiet Thursday evening, the kind where the golden sunset slipped slowly behind the rooftops, bathing everything in a warm glow. Sarah, a young woman with an easy smile, was bustling in her kitchen, moving between pots of bubbling curry, warm naan bread fresh from the oven, and a pot of creamy rice pudding that filled the air with sweetness. Her family was already gathering in the dining room, chatting and laughing as the aroma of dinner drifted through the house. From her kitchen window, Sarah glanced out at the street and noticed her elderly neighbor, Mrs. Patel, sitting alone on her balcony. She was small and frail, her hair silver and neatly tied in a bun, her hands wrapped around a chipped mug of tea. She stared out into the street with an expression that was neither happy nor sad, but somewhere in between, a look that held years of memories, both beautiful and painful. Sarah had seen her like this before, always alone. People in the neighborhood knew bits of her story. Her husband had passed away over a decade ago. Her children lived in other countries, and her relatives rarely visited. The thought of her spending yet another evening in silence made Sarah's heart ache. Tonight, something inside her refused to let it pass. Without overthinking, Sarah slipped on her sandals, picked up a plate of warm naan, and stepped outside. The cool evening air wrapped around her as she crossed the street. Mrs. Patel looked up in surprise when she saw Sarah approaching, her eyes soft but guarded, as if she was unsure what this visit might mean. "Hello, Mrs. Patel," Sarah greeted warmly, offering the plate. "I was just making dinner with my family. Would you like to join us tonight?" The old woman blinked, clearly taken aback. "Join you? Oh no, I wouldn't want to intrude." Sarah shook her head gently. "You wouldn't be intruding. You'd be making our table complete." There was a long pause. Mrs. Patel looked down at her tea, then back up at Sarah's smile. Finally, she gave a shy nod and said, "All right, but only if I can bring my famous mango chutney." And just like that, the evening began to change for both of them. Sarah's family welcomed Mrs. Patel as though she had been a part of their lives forever. She was seated at the head of the table, with Sarah's father making sure her plate was full and Sarah's mother bringing out extra rice just for her. The dining room was alive with warmth, the sound of laughter bouncing off the walls, the gentle clink of cutlery against plates, and the comforting smell of homemade food filling the air. The mango chutney Mrs. Patel brought quickly became the star of the meal. Its sweet and tangy flavor had everyone asking for seconds, and the joy in her eyes as she watched them enjoy it was brighter than the candlelight flickering between the dishes. As the night went on, Mrs. Patel began to share stories, her childhood in India, the long summer afternoons spent helping her mother cook, the night she first met her husband at a dance, and the adventures they had when they were young and in love. Her voice trembled when she spoke of losing him, and how afterward the house grew quieter each year, the days feeling longer, the nights colder. She confessed that she often cooked for one, eating in silence while memories filled the empty spaces around her. But tonight was different. Tonight, she wasn't just a widow in a quiet home. She was surrounded by warmth, laughter, and the feeling of being truly seen. At one point, Sarah's mother reached over, placed her hand gently on Mrs. and said softly, "You know, you're welcome at our table anytime." This isn't just a one-time thing. Tears welled up in Mrs. Patel's eyes, and she struggled to find words. But the gratitude shining through her expression said more than words ever could. By the time the night ended and Sarah walked her to the door, the bond between them had shifted from neighborly politeness to something much deeper, a connection like family. Mrs. Patel hugged her tightly before leaving and whispered, "Thank you for giving me back a piece of home." From that night forward, she was no longer the lonely woman across the street. She became a part of their family gatherings, birthdays, and holidays, her laughter and stories woven into the fabric of their lives. And all of it had begun with a simple invitation. If this story touched your heart, hit the like button and subscribe to Outfit Stories, because sometimes the smallest gesture can open the door to the most beautiful change.